He said he would forego the farmer's debt if he could marry his daughter. Both the farmer and his daughter were horrified with the proposal. So the cunning moneylender suggested that let Providence decide the matter. He told them that he would put a black pebble and a white pebble in a bag, and the girl had to choose one pebble. And if she chose the black pebble, she would have to marry him, and her father's debt would be forgiven. If she chose the white pebble, then she didn't have to marry him, and yet the father's debt would still be forgiven. But if she refused to pick up the pebble, then the farmer had to pay the debt or go to jail. Now, they were standing on a pebble-strewn path, and the girl was very sharp, and she saw that the moneylender picked up 2 black pebbles and put it in the money bag. Now, imagine you are standing in the field. What would you have done if you would have been in her place? Careful analysis would produce 3 possibilities. The girl should refuse to pick up the pebbles, or the girl should expose the moneylender and say that there are 2 black pebbles, or third, the girl can sacrifice her life and free her father from debt. Now, take a moment and ponder over this story. Had the girl been full of worry, she would not have been able to think clearly. Now, the girl's dilemma would not have been solved, but she refused to worry and think. What did she do was, she picked up a pebble and dropped it. And then she told the moneylender, let's see what pebble is left in the bag. That will let me know which pebble I had picked up. And that is what she did. And since the black pebble was left in the money bag, it was assumed that the pebble she picked up and threw away was the white one. So she didn't have to marry the moneylender, and yet her father was saved from his debt. So what do we learn from this story? Do you know one thing? That 70% of the patients that go to medical doctors can cure themselves if they free themselves from their fears and worries. So the main cause of illness is worries and fears. Now we are in our 20s and we are ready to face the world. We have a lot of things to do. We have to find a job, be successful in business. We still want to study more. We want to give exams. We want to find a spouse, or we have already found a spouse, and now we want to have a happy married life. So many things to do, and lots of things could cause stress. And this may lead to indigestion, stomach ulcers, insomnia, some kind of headaches. So what should we do? What is the chief cause of worry? Let's find the solution to that. The chief cause of worry is lack of knowledge. Lack of knowledge and confusion. If you know your subject well, you will have nothing to worry. When you go for an exam and you are well prepared, then you don't have fear. In the same way, if you know what you want in life, suppose you're going for a job interview and you know everything what the job wants from you, you will be prepared for it and there will be no fear. But if you go with only your theoretical knowledge and you don't have skills, what will happen is you will worry. So half of the world worry is caused by insufficient knowledge. Whenever you have to take a decision, you need to have full knowledge about the subject. Suppose you want to marry. What should you see in your life partner? Is it only the looks? No. You should look into the life partner that you have similar goals, similar vision, if you want to have a successful married life. It is very important that certain topics you need to address. If you are a religious person and if you want to marry somebody who is not very religious, but because that person is good looking, and then you think that, okay, I can change that person to my way of thinking, that may lead to a troubled married life. You can again have problems with the decision in the way you want to bring up your child. So it is very important that you have similar vision in life. Some people live frugally. They don't want to spend money. They don't want to live in today. They want to save for the future. While some people don't want to save for the future, they feel that, okay, whatever I have earned today, I will spend it today and I will earn again tomorrow. But if the husband and the wife, they are not in the same way of thinking, they could have a problem. That could ensue into a fight. Now, one more thing. If one of the person is an introvert and the other is an extrovert, there is a big issue. So what should we be looking for in a life partner? The most important thing that we should be looking in the life partner is friendship. You must genuinely like one another, because passionate love is just a couple of years. You have to live in companionship all your life. So if there is no friendship, there is no comfort with one another, if you cannot amuse each other or do not want to spend time with each other, what happens? This leads to taking each other for granted. Then either you are living a life which is not a very happy one, but each doing their own duties, which could again lead to stress and worry. So what are the skills that are required to succeed in life? Effective listening skills. Now, what is effective listening skills? Do you know that most of the marriages complaints are that my spouse does not listen to me? And what happens is the husband comes home and says that, oh, I'm too tired. I do not want to listen to your gibbering. And the wife says, oh, I have a lot of work to do. Just now, I have no time to listen to what has happened. So what happens is, okay, now what happens is, in this particular situation, both the spouse are felt unheard. So it is very, very important to have effective listening skills. Give time to each other, at least 15 minutes, to just listen to what the other person wants to say. You do not need to provide any solution to any problems. By just listening to the other person, you will be able to solve half the problems. More than half, actually, because everybody just wants to be heard. Okay. What else? And now this listening skill is not only restricted to married life. It will help you in all walks of life. If you are a good listener, you will make more friends. You will have good relations with all your colleagues, even your boss. In your business, if you listen to your customers, It will help you succeed. So this effective listening skills is not only restricted to married life. Now, secondly, express yourself. Now, what does this mean, express yourself? We are very quick in expressing our anger, our frustration, our negative emotions. But when it comes to positive emotions, we are conjuice. We stop ourselves. We do not tell our spouses that we love them. Oh, she already knows, or he already knows. What is there to tell them in that? Or parents, or kids, or friends. How many times do you tell people around you that you care for them? So if you develop these skills, what will happen is you will have less stress in life. Because when you spread positive emotions, you will get positive emotions in return. So express yourself. Tell people around you that you care. Tell them without fail every day. Now, third, praising people around you, especially your spouse. Do we really praise people around? When we meet people, the first thing we look into the people is what is wrong with this person. Had this person worn this, he would have looked better. Or this color doesn't suit this person. But how many times do we really look for the good in that person and tell that to that person? Have we ever thought of that point? Praising also means giving a smile and speaking a kind word to a stranger. And imagine what happens when you are married. You have already told your spouse, I love you in the courtship period. And then you think now she already knows or he already knows. So after marriage, you have stopped telling each other that you love each other. So what happens? You are left unsatisfied emotionally. So if you want to be praised, first learn to praise. If your spouse has done something good for you, please acknowledge it and say, thank you for doing this for me. Even though it is her duty or his duty, but even if it's a small word of thank you goes a long way. Emotional stability. What is emotional stability? We feel that when we are upset and when we come home and we start shouting and yelling, everybody in the house has to understand that you are upset and has to forgive you for all the negative yelling that you are doing. But do you know that this causes so much of stress, not only to you, but also to people around you? So learn to control your negative emotions. It is a skill that you have to learn to develop. Do not try to remove your negative emotional outbursts on people around you. These are just a few of the skills. Skills are like weapons in the war. What happens when you go to a war and you are without weapons? What will happen is you will die out of fear. You will be stressed. But imagine you are fully armored and you are going to a war. Then you are not afraid of the enemy. Okay, so it is very, very important that we learn to develop positive skills and then be prepared for life. Okay, let me tell you another story. How to stop worrying. There was once a person, we all know that the Japanese attacked the Pearl Harbor and took over Shanghai. Now, what happened is there was a person by the name of uh, Gallon. He was supposed to give up all his assets to the Japanese. But somewhere he decided to leave some of the assets which he thought belonged to his own country and did not give up all the assets. And one day, when he watched the television, he came to know that the Japanese have come to know about this. Now, what will happen if the Japanese have come to know that he has not submitted all his assets? There were three things that could happen. So he was very much worried because he knew that the worst of the worst situation was that he would be killed. But what did he do? Is he decided to write down all the possibilities that could happen. What he could have done was, he could have explained the Japanese admiral why he did what he did. But because the Japanese didn't know Chinese or English, they would need an interpreter. And if the interpreter was not good enough, he would be killed. So the second option was that he could try and escape, which was, of course, impossible because they kept a track of him all the time. Whenever he came out of his room, went to his office, the Japanese had an eye on him. So escape was not possible. Because if he got escaped, he would be captured and shot dead. So again, he would die. Now, the third possibility was that he could stay in the room and not go to the office at all. But if he did that, the Japanese admiral would get suspicious and he would probably send soldiers to get him and throw him and again kill him. So now what was the last solution that he thought of? Was that in all these situations, I will be killed. So now the last situation was that he could just go to the office and behave as if he did not know what has come on TV. There is so much happening around that the Japanese admiral might forget the whole thing. And if he does not remember, or if he has forgotten, or if he has cooled off, nothing will go wrong. So when he thought of this, he went to the office the next day, fully calm and composed without worry. And that is exactly what happened. Nothing went wrong. The Japanese admiral cooled off and he was alive. So what happened was, what do we learn from this story? How to solve worrying problems. Get the facts. Write down the facts. That is very, very important. Writing is a very good therapy. Once you write it down, everything is in front of you. We say, no, it's all in my mind. But till you don't put it down on paper, you cannot see the facts clearly. So remember one thing. Getting the facts means writing them down on paper. Secondly, once the facts are in front of you, you will be able to analyze them better. So once you analyze the facts, you will be able to arrive at a decision. So this is the the easiest way to stop worrying is put down the facts on paper. Nowadays, we don't write. We have stopped writing because we are using mobile phones, we are using gadgets. So we have stopped writing. But believe me, once you write it down on paper, you will feel a very different person from inside. So what is the magic formula for solving all your worry situations? Analyze the situation of failure fearlessly. Remember, first think, what is the worst possible outcome of the situation? And then make a list of the outcomes. Remember, you are not going to be jailed or shot. If you take a wrong decision, nothing worse like this will happen. So once you are sure that you are not going to be killed or jailed, you will find humor in the situation and you will be able to find a solution. Remember, accept yourself first in that situation. That, okay, now I am in this situation. Now, how do I get out of it? It could be any kind of situation. When I'm talking in your 20s, you can be in any of the situations. In your business, in your job, in your marriage. Once you learn all these skills, you will be able to go through life effortlessly. You will get a sense of peace. And then you will be able to start working on reducing the failure. There was once a person, an engineer, who experimented on making a machine. But his experimentation went wrong. And that would cost him, his company, $20,000. So what would happen is that what would happen in this situation? He was scared that, oh, I have made such a big blunder. He could have stressed himself, worried himself out. But what happened was, he thought calmly that, okay, let me see what can happen. What can happen is that I can be thrown out of the job, or I will be made to pay for this, which would not really happen because he was told to experiment. So that solution, he knew that they would not make me pay for it. So once he was prepared that maximum outcome would be that he would be thrown out of the job, he was okay that, okay, I am not that bad, I can get another job. So what happened is his worry was over. So once his worry was over, he decided to find a solution to the problem, how to improve on this machine. And by adding a little more money, he made another machine that could work with this machine and get the result that they wanted. So worrying would have left him without a job and he would have stressed out. But because he stopped worrying and found a solution, he could find another way out. So what happens when we worry? We are not able to concentrate because our mind is jumping from here and there, and we lose all power of decision. So I think I have just touched over this topic, but remember, the way a healthy diet is very important for a strong body. A right mindset is important to keep our mind strong and free of worries. So, in case you have any problems related to worry, depression, stress, you can contact me on this, and yes, I will be there to help. anger management, any sort of habits that you want to form, you want to eliminate, I am there to help you. Okay, folks? Any questions?
That was really nice, Nishranbeen. Thank you so much. Insightful, lots to learn, and very calm and peacefully you've explained us that everything just gets registered directly over here.
Thank you so much,
Really,
Sakina,
thank you
for
so
your
much for
kind words.
investing your time, your energy, everything into this, making us explain in layman terms that yes, we know what we have to do, especially if there are some parents in the participants, then they would understand how they have to deal with their children of that age group between 20 to 30. So thanks a ton. Participants, any questions, any doubts, please put it up in the chat section. You can unmute yourself and ask as well if you're comfortable. And Nishramin has already passed on her details, so you can get in touch with her personally as well. Please do let us know. We wait for a few minutes if people want to put in any questions, Nishramin.
Okay, dear.
Otherwise, it was so well explained that I myself don't have so many doubts. Just one thing that I want to ask is, sometimes as children between this age group, they are pressurized for marriage, and soon
Mm,
after marriage, they are pressurized for children.
yes.
So, in terms of the husband and the wife, so husband is pressurized, so he also has to handle his work, his job, or whatever he is doing, his business, or whatever it is. And simultaneously, if the wife is working, so she has to manage the house, the work, and the pressure of conceiving a child as soon as possible. So, how can how can the husband and wife solve this issue? And B, as parents, how can we understand and empathize with them and not pressurize too much? What can we do that?
One thing, Sakina Bain, today's generation is very clear about what they want. This is one
Correct.
very good thing about this generation. They are very clear. But what happens is, as parents, uh, the pressure comes from the parents. So sometimes it is better to communicate to them what
Right.
the couple wants. It's better to communicate to both the parents if they are not ready for a child immediately. So they should communicate that, please, we will not be having a child for at least a couple of years. So don't put pressure. We Whatever you do will not help the relationship. Sometimes communication, what happens is we are scared to communicate. So
Correct.
this happens. We don't tell our parents that we don't want a child just now, because we are scared that if we tell them, they will and get
They'll
angry or
feel
this
bad,
bad.
and obviously a
So, but
lot of other
sometimes what
situations.
happens is that because it was not communicated, the parents are worried that, oh, why are they not being able to conceive? They will take all the mannat and they will see. This is all a cycle,
True.
and in that,
Yes.
the couple is stressed both the ways. So I would
Correct.
suggest that it is better that you communicate to the parents, and the parents, if they have something to explain to the children, they can, both of them can do
Correct.
it calmly and then
So
arrive
in
to
this
a
case,
solution.
actually, communication is the first thing and the best thing that solves almost all your problems.
Yes, that is why I
Whether
said
it is this,
listen. Even if you first listen
correct,
to your parents, why they are insisting on having a child. So if you
correct,
heard
correct.
them out, if you hear them out, what happens is they will be able to hear you out as well.
Point, point. Very well said. Very well said.
What we do is we argue that no, हमारे हमना नथी जोते. Argument is not the solution.
True. Absolutely. Great.
Okay,
Great.
dear.
Great. Anyone, anything else? Everybody, thank you so much for answering this. A lot
No,
of things
Sakina,
get cleared. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, Ben. Anybody
Okay.
has
I
any
do feel
queries who would want to connect to me privately, please do, because sometimes people have questions But because of this
Yes, I
age
was just
group,
going to say that.
everybody who has do not want to put it on
Absolutely.
open
Yes,
forum.
I do understand
So
that. I do
yes,
understand that.
so yes,
Yes,
I will
please
be able
feel free
to.
to get in touch with Nishanbeen. And Nishanbeen, I will also share the registration list with you in some time. So you can also get in touch with the participants. The
Okay.
participants who have joined here directly with the Zoom link, I would request if you want any other update from Dr. Nishan or from me, and you've not registered previously on the registration link which was passed earlier, but you have directly joined the Zoom link, please give your WhatsApp or registration email ID or anything to any one of us via any of the social media that you want to use. You can WhatsApp her, you can WhatsApp Zeal Wellness, however, so that you guys get connected and get in touch with Nishan Bain. That's the only point. Okay. Thank you so much once again, Dr. Nishan, for a wonderful, wonderful session. And all the
I am very, very impressed, Sakina Bain, for all the efforts that you are putting in. Since the 1st of September, you have been doing a very great job. You are helping people around, and it's a very, very great initiative. Hats off to
thank you.
you,
Thank you so
and
much.
all the best to you for all your rest of the session.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And all the participants, thanks a lot for being there. We have day 6 and day 7 left. Tomorrow, Dr. Umema Merchant, the homeopath and the counselor, is going to be with us, same time on Zoom, and she's going to take age group 30 to 60 years. So, all the midlife crisis and all the health issues during this period. Please be there. Pass on the link to anybody who can benefit. Take care. We end the session over here. Nishanbhen, you can end the session from your end.
Okay, yes.
Thank you.